My sense is, when you say you feel like it's not the right thing to do because you feel like you want to be doing bigger things, that's comparison, right?
Yes.
And that's a symptom of the ego. Everything you're doing right now is preparing you for something bigger, but there's a very big possibility that you don't see the bigger picture that is playing out right in front of you right now. Oftentimes we think about that something bigger and we want to go to the something bigger now, yet we're still preparing for it. It's like if someone decides they want to compete in the Olympics, they're going to have to dedicate 10 to 12 years of their life before they can compete. Now, they can't dedicate 6 months and then get there. So in order for someone to compete at the Olympics, they've got to be willing to dedicate themselves to their profession, to their art. And you've just said, you want to have your impact with coaching affecting millions of people around the world, right?
It's like I told you, I can smell something, I can feel something's coming, I can't get clarity on it. It's driving me crazy.
My sense is right now that the reason you're triggered is you're focusing on money. Because right now, again, it might be a one-to-one game, but it might be one person that you coach right now that opens the door to something of much greater and grander proportions.
Yeah.
But I think you're focusing on something that is creating stress. And look, 9 times out of 10, when someone's triggered and they have stress in their business, it's because they're focusing on the money. Whereas if you just focus on what you love to do, then that will fulfill you, right? If we take a step back, like, are you experiencing financial stress right now?
Absolutely, and you're so right, because I've actually never thought this way before. I've never worried about money before. I've always been distracted by doing what I love.
Aha! Did you hear that? Just focus on service. Yeah. Stop making this about you. If you help enough other people, you'll be taken care of. Overwhelm's not a bad thing. I don't think what you're experiencing is overwhelm. I think what you're experiencing is stress. Overwhelm for me for me it means that you've got so much going on that you're finding it very difficult to deal with the amount of information that you're processing. Stress is something that is triggered as a result of some kind of egoic comparison in many cases where you're either comparing yourself to where you want to be to where you are, and if you're not happy with that, then that's going to trigger stress or some kind of an emotional reaction. But I think it's also fair to say you're having an identity crisis right now.
That's exactly right. And the money is just a symptom of the identity crisis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you see yourself as a musician, as let's just say in this context, but you're actually, a coach in the commercial world. And so, it's like you've got a values conflict when you describe what it is that you do. And so that's obviously going to permeate into other areas. Practice what you know, like practice your awareness, practice consciousness, and be aware of what you're suggesting to yourself right now. Because there's every possibility that there's a story that's sneaking in there that is creating this conflict and you're not aware that it's playing. Or you are aware of it's playing and you're not replacing it with a more helpful suggestion.
That's exactly right. There we are. That's exactly right. Okay.
And create 10 supporting statements around your identity. Like, I am a master. Yeah, I am a master coach. I am a master of questioning and listening. I am a master of getting to the root core of people's problems and helping them find a way forward. I am a master of persuasion and allowing people to be naturally convinced by their own drive and desire to fulfill their high purpose. Come up with statements that align with the identity that you're stepping into, and that will reinforce it.
Fantastic. I just feel much more peaceful. Kerwin, I can't thank you enough. You get it on all levels. You are so unique. And I'm so grateful to have this time with you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Anytime. You've got my number now, so if you've got any questions or you want to chat it through, just give me a call. I got to be honest with you, I was struggling in that call because I was trying to think, but it was when I let go and when stop thinking, just be present, listen, and ask questions. And look, truth is I didn't really tell her anything she didn't know. I just asked the questions and made her realize what she did know. So she was thanking me, but in truth, she was actually thanking herself because I just helped her see what she already knew. She just wasn't focusing on it. So I'd love to take responsibility for it, but I can't. But I will take responsibility for asking the questions. They have a windsock here, so trucks know how strong the wind is because trucks have been blown over on this bridge.
Really?
Yeah, there's this incredible gust that can come through in the afternoons. Launch to me doesn't mean here's everything. Launch to me goes, okay, we're now pushing out the content. So next Monday, the first piece of the launch will be the teaser video. I want to enroll people. I want to enroll the database. I want to enroll the communities. I'm less interested in followers and I'm more interested in engagement. So for me, it's not about having 100,000 followers and having just a couple of likes on each post. Like I would rather lose right now 20,000, just hear me out. I would rather lose 20,000 followers and increase my engagement by 400% than gain 20,000 followers and lose engagement. Again, that's where I have this real issue around people on like Instagram and Twitter doing this whole follow for follow bullshit. Like I think that is completely destructive from a brand's perspective because you're basically getting you're creating a false community. You know, I want people to follow because they look at the content and go, I want to be dialed into that. I want to be tuned into that. I'll do that just after I connect with money. Money, money, money. This is scary. That's why we call her the ball buster. Oh, I can't even grab that. There we go. You okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Do you need a hug?
No.
No. The beautiful side is when people like you that appreciate the opportunity. Fantastic. Let me just grab Marie. Marie, you there? Okay, bye. You know what that means? We just saved another life. The reason that we got the gong, it's a way of us celebrating the fact that we're going to be working with someone and celebrating the fact that we're going to be helping someone. So yeah, it's kind of an important ritual. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't do enough of, is celebrating their victories. So yeah, that's just our little way of doing it.
Over here, what's that then?
This is the last event, the April tour.
Okay.
So let's go with that venue.
Okay.
Mate, great to see you. Do you want to take him through? And then I'll be right there, mate. I've just got to make a quick phone call. Well, there's two ways to look at what you're doing and to assess whether you're number one, do you actually love what you do? Or number two, did you love what you do, but you've just fallen out of love with it because you're not getting the results that you want? But I always come back to the fact, it takes on average to build from scratch $1 million business, 7 to 10 years. That's how long it takes on average, based on the data from the UK, the USA and Australia, economic data, 7 to 10 years. Now, if you're gonna do something for 7 to 10 years, you might as well fucking love it and you might as well enjoy it, because in order for you to make something that's gonna be successful, and if you wanna do it in a period shorter than 7 to 10 years, you're gonna have to work pretty fucking hard. And the reality is, if you're struggling with your motivation right now, the reason that you struggle with your motivation is because you're not loving what you do. Now, you've got two choices. You can shut up shop and go and find what you love, or you can uncover the thing that you love about what you do that you're not looking at or you've forgotten. There's some of our K2s, yeah. The goal is to fill that wall up completely. Like totally and utterly have it full, end to end.
A lot of people, they want to start their own businesses, but people don't always sort of have the balls because there's all the financial risk and all that involved.
Yeah.
So what made you just go, you know what, I'm gonna...
I wasn't employable. I hated being told what to do. I was just very rebellious. And it's interesting, I started my first business and it was successful, but I was working with a guy that, he just wasn't a good person and he screwed me over. The business went down. And then I was like 23 and I had $200,000 in debt. And I ended up going to a recruitment agent, much like you did. And I said, look, I want to get a job in a bank so I can learn how to, because I thought my weaknesses was back-end finance and administration, because that's how I got screwed over. And so then I went through the process of being recruited for a bank job, and they got to the final part of the process where they got you to role play to sell an insurance product as a teller. And I did the role play and they were like, because I'd run a door-to-door sales company where I was basically training 35 guys in the field every single day. Yeah, they're like, holy shit, have you done this before? I said, this is what I do. Like, I train people how to do this. And so they brought in someone else, and long story short, they put me forward for a couple of jobs, and one of them was a base of 120, commissions I would have been earning 180, but it was selling stationery. And they offered me the job, and I was just like, I can't get passionate about selling stationery. Paid off my bills and quit, and then came out and started, well, I wouldn't say I started this, but I started the early version of this. Someone made a really good point. If we're going to have him in here, we need to make the place dog friendly. Because I've been trying to convince my wife to get a dog for like 4 years. And so I saw this as a great opportunity for me to get what I want. But sometimes when I go for things that I want, I don't consider everyone else. And I should have, yeah, there's a lot of legacy that we've lost, because we've had a few people go through the role. And I'm looking forward to getting more stability back in the department so that you guys have a little bit, just so you guys know what you're doing and there's not that level of confusion that you're experiencing right now. But I want you to know I'm aware and we'll support you through it. God. I'm really excited for next week. The social experiment, it's fucking happening. I actually really like the idea of communal lunches. Like, to me, it's very European.